Retro.
Today's show is brought to you by Wizard World. Coming up on January 16th, you are invited to participate in a free interactive panel featuring a Q&A session with the stars of Animaniacs. That's right, Rob Paulson, Jess Harnell, Tress MacNeille, and Maurice LaMarche. You'll get a chance to ask your favorite voice actors questions about Animaniacs, and there's also opportunities for live video chats, virtual photo ops, recorded video messages, and of course, autographs. So if you're like me, you won't want to miss out on this opportunity to interact with some of the stars of Animaniacs. Don't let COVID cancel your convention experiences. Go to wizardworld.animanicast.com today to get more information, and we'll see you there at the panel. Today's show is also brought to you by Patreon. The Animanicast has started a Patreon, and we'd love for you to become a patron. Simply go to patreon.com/Animanicast for exclusive content, including Animaniacs commentaries featuring the creator of Animaniacs, Tom Ruegger. It's all over at patreon.com/Animanicast. And welcome everybody to another episode of the Animanicast.
Oh, Gigi! She's gone!
This looks like a case for celebrated detective Hercule Yakko.
I feel like we've been here before.
Yeah, well, that's how we make television in 2020. Reboot!
And welcome everybody to the Animanicast. This is the podcast that is dedicated to the animated television series Animaniacs, as well as other shows in the Rueggerverse, such as Pinky the Brain, Tiny Toon Adventures, and Freakazoid. Here we explore the series episode by episode. We revisit all the cultural references and gags, and in the end, we give every episode a Water Tower rating. Today we're talking about episode 7 of the Animaniacs Reboot. I am Joey, and joining me are my co-hosts, my brother Nathan.
Let them eat cake.
And across the country in Georgia is Kelly.
Hello.
A lot of news. We got a lot of exciting stuff going on in the world. And today we're bringing it all back to Animaniacs with an episode that includes the segments Warner, She Wrote, France Revolution, and Gift Wrapper. And if someone were to ask you, Nathan and Kelly, how would you describe this episode in just, a few words, what would you tell them, Nathan?
There's almost no Pinky and the Brain in this episode.
Oh, that's true, which was shocking.
Yeah, they are in it, but like
oh yeah, it's them. Put them in.
Like
and
we
Kelly,
said they'd be in every episode. They're there.
they did not lie. And Kelly, what about you?
This episode had a Spielberg reference, but they probably should have left it out.
Yeah. There was a Spielberg reference, but I don't know if that's enough to necessarily save this episode for Kelly. We'll have to find out in just a few moments. This one is, of course, this episode, along with all the other episodes in this first season of the reboot, premiered on November 20th of 2020. And Nathan, let's get to our favorite segment. It's November 20th trivia. So let's hit us with the November 20th trivia theme song.
It's November, and it's the 20th day of November. So that makes it November 20th.
Yay! Wow.
I love how this theme song is different every time.
Yeah, I can't remember it.
I thought he just wrote multiple theme songs. I mean, the music sheets, he sends them out. I would love, I know there's nobody who would ever waste their time doing this, but I'd love to hear somebody actually like play music to like the theme songs. If you actually know music and you can do that, that'd be hilarious. We need musical accompaniment.
Make it sound better, because it couldn't sound any worse.
That's true.
Do some auto-tune like the episode.
Ooh,
that's right.
auto-tune.
Get a rap
in fact,
song.
auto-tune the entire episode. Might make it a little bit more entertaining. Nathan, what happened on November 20th?
All right. Well, in this episode, we have a whole segment about some French royal deaths. So I was like, hey, what's some royal deaths in history on November 20th? So I thought this might be somewhat of a tie-in. So here we go. In 996 AD, Richard I, Duke of Normandy, died on November 20th. Then John I, the King of France and Navarra. That was on 1316. And then 1925, we have Alexandra of Denmark, the Queen of the United Kingdom. And 1938, Maud of Wales, the Queen of Norway. All perished on the 20th of November.
Oh, how sad.
Yeah.
But there you go.
I thought this is the perfect episode for that.
Yeah. Dealing with royals.
They'll never be royal.
No, not anymore. Dead. Well, thank you so much, Nathan, for the November 20th trivia. Let's go ahead and get into our discussion here of the actual episode. And let's first not forget about today's variable verse. Today's variable verse is execs must be crazy.
Execs must be crazy.
It doesn't even rhyme.
There's an E. I would say that they did it quite. This is not my favorite variable theme verse that they've done either in this reboot or in obviously the original series. Kind of forgettable, and I guess it might be. Maybe is this like a reference to the gods must be crazy? Maybe, I don't know. You ever see that movie? Gods Must Be Crazy?
No, but I've
think
heard of it.
you
but
must be crazy.
I don't know anything about it.
It's a movie that came out in the 80s. My uncle used to love that movie a lot, and he thought it was the most hilarious movie in the world.
Who's in it?
It's a movie about a tribe in Africa, like a real tribe in Africa, about like a Coke bottle is thrown from a helicopter, I think, and so it's all about them kind of taking this Coke bottle, and I'm honestly, I haven't seen it since I was in third grade, so that's about all I remember. Other than it's a comedy, and if you were to look at it with modern eyes, I've been told it's racist. But
Oh no.
But I can't think of any specific examples because I haven't seen it since I was a little kid. So I remember laughing at it as a kid because it's just kind of silly. I remember people running around the place and running away from lions or something.
Well, a lot of stuff was offensive in the 80s, particularly comedies.
Yeah, exactly. So,
So no telling.
Yeah, no telling. But yeah, so if I were a betting man, I would say this might be a reference to that movie, at least that saying, perhaps. But I don't know. They just shows executives kind of, on the walls, like kind of acting crazy. And I was wondering if I was looking to see if any of them actually looked like any of the execs from this show, and I really couldn't see anybody who necessarily looked like any of the execs on the show. So I was a little bit disappointing that I couldn't see any caricatures of people actually know, but whatever. But let's go ahead and get to the main segment here, or at least one of the first segments. All these segments are completely Warner's. This is a different thing for us for the reboot. It used to be getting used to this formula of a Warner's segment, a Pinky and the Brain segment, and then a Warner's segment or song. But this is all just Warner's. So three Warner's. What was that, Nathan?
It breaks the mold or whatever.
Yes. For better or for worse, it breaks the mold. Let's go ahead and talk about the first segment, and it's called Warner, She Wrote. And Warner, She Wrote was a story by Kathleen Chen and Brian Polk, and then the teleplay was written by Jess Lacker, Andrew Barbeau, and Wellesley Wild, and it was directed by Eric Knudsen. Nathan, why don't you tell us what happens here in Warner, She Wrote?
Okay. So the Warners are traveling on the Occident Express. It's the year, I don't know, 1800. And Yakko is, again, the detective Hercule Yakko, which he's been before. And now there's an annoying dog on this train and keeps barking. The conductor even says that dog doesn't stop barking, it's going to get murdered. Of course, he means muzzled because he messes up his M words, which is, I don't know, it's a kind of a plot point, I guess. I don't know. We'll find out. Anywho, that night, they are trying to sleep, and, they're actually sleeping right next door to this barking dog, and it keeps Yakko especially up all night.
Excuse me. Hi. Can you tell your dog to put a sock in it, please? Some of us are trying to lie quietly in bed, contemplating the brief nature of our existence.
Gigi will express herself as she sees fit. Be gone.
In the morning, they find out that there has indeed been a murder of the dog, or at least a dog napping, because it's missing. And now Hercule Yakko is on the case. So he does a couple. First, he finds the chloroform that was used to knock out the woman had Dot's name on it. So maybe Dot did it. But no, she lost that handkerchief doing close-up magic.
Watch.
I'm watching. It's still there.
But where is the handkerchief?
No, Mommy, no. Lucy, Mama, I'm frightened.
So maybe it was Wacko who snuck out of the room that night. But no, he was taking a bath in the punch bowl.
Hard-washed buns, scrubbity-dub-dub, hard-washed buns.
This punchline is taking far too long.
I'll say, this episode feels like it's all set up and no payoff.
So maybe it was Yakko who, for some reason, he has dog hair on him. But no, he didn't do it because he would have remembered doing it. So,
looks like I'm my own prime suspect. I can't believe you were under my nose the whole time. Under it, behind it, attached to it. Where were you the night Gigi disappeared? I was with you. With me? That's right, with we.
Are you following this?
Absolutely not.
So we know it's on him. So they decide to tear the room apart, and they find what is a note, what appears to be from the dog itself, saying, "Don't look for me. I am. I've decided to run away because of my own Mordella." And really, she means mortality because she messed up her M words. But hey, we know the dog can't write, and plus, there's someone else that messes up their M words. It's the conductor who might be named Margaret, but just because he calls himself Margaret. But yes. I think that's because he messes up his M words.
That's right. It was Margaret. I mean me. It was me. But why'd you do it, Margaret?
But anyways, Margaret admits to doing it. And then he ends up saying murdered correctly, though, when he says, "I'm going to murder you guys now," when he's talking to the Warners. And they're like, "Congratulations, here's your prize." And it's the dog. So he unwraps it and the dog starts attacking him. And I think that's how it ends.
Yeah, pretty much. They reunite the dog and the owner.
Yeah.
And they make out.
Oh, that was just gross.
And and then she does this whole feeding the dog a biscuit by chewing it and spitting it into its mouth.
Why is there so much grossness?
I don't know. But the conductor's name is Margaret in the credits. So it's a fun, I think it's a joke.
It's a joke.
A joke in the credits, I think, because he calls himself Margaret. I don't think.
Speaking of M words, though, I have a quick question. Why was there a moose in this? Did I miss that? Jot was doing close-up magic,
and why did it freak out? I didn't get that either.
Because it disappeared. The napkin
disappeared.
The handkerchief disappeared. It's scary.
It's a joke. Because it's scary and it's ironic that.
You ever see these close-up magic with what's his face on?
David Blaine.
And then they makes the watch disappear, and then the guys start freaking out. I think that's what
I
it was
just didn't
supposed to be
understand why
like.
there was a moose. Like, was there some kind of like
A pun I didn't get. Yeah, I don't know. But the
Why
moose
is there
and
a-
Margaret were both played by the same actor, Carlos Alzarraqui.
Al-Zawraki, I believe, who is
Al-Zawraki.
the voice of Rocco,
Oh.
Rocco's Modern Life, and he plays one of the police officers in Reno 911.
There you go. Well, he is the moose and Margaret.
Well, I will say the only thing that made me laugh in this entire thing is the moose who said, "Moosey mama." And that made me laugh just because he sounded funny. But I didn't understand why there was a moose in this episode.
Yeah, I was trying to think.
I watched
if there
it a
was
couple times. Like, did I miss something? Like, why is she doing a magic trick for the moose? Let's talk about some of the things.
It's like a Family Guy kind of thing.
I guess that was.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, let's talk about the things that we liked, and let's talk about the things that maybe confused or
Infuriated us.
I don't know about infuriated. Nothing in this
The
cartoon.
concept of love confuses and infuriates.
That's Futurama.
Yes.
Let's see. And that was Maurice LaMarche who said that line, I
Yes.
believe. Yeah. Anyway.
So it's all come back full circle. Here we go.
Well, let's get back to Animaniacs. Okay. So let's talk about the stuff that we liked in here. Kelly, let's start with you. Is there any moments in this cartoon, this first one, that you liked?
No.
Okay. We're just laying it out there. No. Nathan, what about you?
I liked the punchline was too long.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay.
You don't like it?
I will
No.
say this. I like the costumes that they wore. I like the...
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. I like Dot's outfit. That was
I'm okay with Hercule Yakko coming back. Like the concept of that idea.
Which is
I think
weird
it's probably
because,
fine.
Yeah, I really wish they kind of kept it as a continuation in some ways of the original, even though they kind of allude to that we've done this before, even though...
Wasn't the original Hercule Yakko the one with the fingerprints joke?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And you would think that they would kind of like, I don't know, mention that or...
Well, they did make some kind of joke, and they said not in front of the kids.
Yeah, because he was going to say another M word.
M.
It would be mother.
right. Yeah. And so, yeah.
We all chipped in and got you a little something, something. Go ahead and open it.
Get this little monster off me!
Ooh, I think he meant Bob. No, not in front of the kids.
Because I was like, well, maybe that was sort of a nod.
I guess.
But it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't funny.
No.
I mean, I guess it was kind of funny, but
I mean, some of these episodes you got to figure this one's been through the ringer of rewrites. You looking at the amount of people that were behind this episode and writing it.
I don't even know what a teleplay is.
A teleplay is the screenplay, but just
Okay.
the
for TV.
TV version.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had
it's
2 people did the story and then 3
Usually
people doing the teleplay.
Yeah, usually I'm used to seeing story by and then written by. But
Yeah.
it looks like it's like story by, and then it looks like the other 3 people came in and said, we got to rewrite these things and punch it up or something. But there's a lot of, like Nathan, you brought up the punchline joke right there. This punchline is taking too long, and then there's all set up and no payoff. And
It's like the whole cartoon.
the whole cartoon is a
that
lot
made
of,
me laugh.
yeah, well, the whole thing is set. It's like stuff is going on, and I keep thinking to myself, I should be enjoying this more, and I'm not laughing, and I'm just getting grossed out, and and even it seems like the show itself is saying, yeah, this episode isn't good, which is a very Family Guy-ish thing to say. Like I see it happen all the time on Family Guy. Like Peter Griffin just does these little like, yeah, but we can't do this because of the writers. And it's like that isn't funny to me anymore. It used to be funny to me, like 5-10 years ago when I would see it and go, oh, that's clever. They're kind of talking about how this episode isn't that
It's so
funny.
meta, yeah.
But now it's kind of old, and I'm just like,
And it seems a little lazy at times.
You took the words out of my mouth. It's lazy. It's
Don't
lazy.
they make a reference to being a reboot again? I guess in regards to the title.
Yeah, they do. They talk about it, or it's a reboot, and it's like, yeah, we know it's the reboot. Just be funny. Just be funny. That's all I want the show to be.
For the love of God.
No, it just wasn't. funny, and I really wanted it to be but oh boy. Okay, let's talk about the cultural references, and most of them are all just kind of thrown into a quick little, let's do some detective work. And for some reason, they keep pulling out stuff from other movies. Why are they pulling out stuff from, there was no setup to why this is happening, but they were just pulling out random things from other movies that weren't mysteries, they weren't anything else. It really kind of didn't feel connected to it in any way, which kind of annoyed me. But
the grab bag.
Yeah, well, no, the stuff they were looking in the closet. Okay,
yeah,
so
basically, but it kind of reminded me of grab bag because it just pulled out a bunch of random.
Yeah,
stuff.
just random.
I think one of them was the Holy Grail.
Yes, one of
them,
them,
but not the real Holy Grail, like one of the false grails or the Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yes, in the wiki they say it's the Grail from Monty Python, which maybe.
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured.
But it could be one of the ones from Last Crusade.
It could be one of the fake ones. Maybe no. We'll never know.
He chose poorly.
I would have loved for the episode to end with the conductor drinking from that grail and just turning into a skeleton.
Oh my god! Yeah.
That should have happened.
That would have made my life.
Yeah. Well,
I see how easily entertained I am. Like, it doesn't take much.
Yeah. See,
you should write for the show.
Oh yeah, I would just do that. No, guys, do this. And then the episode is all of a sudden great.
Fixed it.
just do just do this from Indiana Jones.
And also
because
talk
Joey
about
knows
being
his
a reboot.
Audience.
Yeah.
Get it? Joey knows his audience.
Yeah.
Painting is like show business. You have to know your audience.
There's going to be a girl in Georgia that's going to really like this if you just do this joke.
I like it.
Yeah, just pull Spielberg out of the bag as well.
Her imminence is coming. Her imminence is coming.
Exactly. Well, anyway, so there's Soylent Green referenced with like a
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah,
I didn't know what that was. I paused it and I was like, "What is that?"
They have a rosebud sled for Citizen Kane. They have the Sword in the Stone from King Arthur / Sword of the Stone. They have ruby slippers from Wizard of Oz. They have the Mrs. Bates from Psycho, and they got the Maltese Falcon was pictured as well.
Which that one kind of fits better than these other ones. 'Cause at least that one's a mystery thing. I've seen that movie actually.
I get the Rosebud sled because they referenced Rosebud a lot in the original cartoon, and Spielberg owns the Rosebud sled or one of them. So
yeah, I suppose. And that one's there's kind of a mystery going on in Rosebud because you're trying to figure out what he said. His last words were Rosebud, so
yeah.
Yes,
spoiler
that kind of fits. Well, that's at the beginning of the movie. Is trying to find out why he says Rosebud. You were the one that gave the spoiler. I didn't say anything about.
Well, anyway, that was cool, like nice to see, but it didn't make any sense to the thing. This episode really felt like a mess to me.
Yeah, there was lots of references in this cartoon. Is one thing you could say. Like, there's a lot of things.
There's
I'm
Murder,
sure
She Wrote for the title.
Yeah,
Hercule Poirot is Hercule Yakko.
Yeah.
But I guess one of the main issues I had with this was that it's like, the first one was called Hercule Yakko, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And in that, I even forget what's going. Oh yeah, the Claudia, Morita. I keep calling her Claudia, but I think it's Claudio is the guy. Anyway, Morita, the hip hippo, her jewels were missing, and she was sitting on them the entire time. But in the original series, they kind of had the same thing. Like, somebody stole them. Let's go find out. And they went to a bunch of different characters. And it's just so funny that now they have no side characters whatsoever. So what do they have to do? Well, there's me and Dot and Wacko. Let's find out which one of us took it. It's like, man, I'm missing the side characters in this one because that was where a lot of the comedy came from. Where it's like, let's go talk to Slappy for a little bit, and Slappy says something funny, and that's where the
go talk to the nurse, and no,
and that was a missing. That was really a missing element in this. It really felt like the first Hercule Yakko done on a budget. Like, we're not or like a limited cast. It's like the original one. It's like if you took like a play that had like 10 characters and then you had to trim it down to 4, and people were double casting themselves and stuff like that. It really didn't feel like as good as it could have been. And it wasn't. Mm-hmm. It really, I don't know what to say about this other than I laughed at the moose. There was a lot of payoff. There was no payoff to the jokes, and there was a lot of references, is what I was trying to say. And then a lot of just cheap stuff, like gross stuff. Like I noticed, like the second or third time watching this, that the dog pees underneath the thing.
I didn't really notice it until I was watching it with audio description. Like,
and then
they say it right out there.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I thought you just spelled something.
I noticed all the slobbery licking, eating the food and feeding the
And
dog at the end of it.
Yeah, and that's lazy too. I mean, it's just late. That's
Unnecessary.
unnecessary. Well, it's like we don't have anything funny, so let's just make them do something gross.
Yeah.
And that's not funny to me. I mean, I'm sure there are people that loved it, and if you did, more power to you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, man, oh man, I did not find this funny because it just wasn't speaking to me. I was not the audience intended for this, or if I was,
I would have liked that
work.
even if I was a kid watching it. That's not the kind of stuff I found funny. I mean, I'm a writer. I would sort of want to. I am a writer, and so I Buffy the Vampire Slayer is one of my favorite TV shows, and the monsters were cheesy a lot of times. Some of the episodes were really dumb, but the characters and the writing saved it. Anytime it kind of went downhill a little bit, because not everything's going to hit every episode out of the park. And overall, the quality was fabulous because you had great writers and you had great characters, and they could balance the cheesiness of some of the monsters of the week or whatever. And it's the writing is the backbone of so many shows.
Yeah, and this particular, I mean, I'll just kind of jump ahead a little bit, and I'll just say that really, I mean, the other two segments that we're going to talk about, I writing wise, I was like, boy, it wasn't funny to me.
I mean, it's still probably better than what I could write because I don't.
Oh, totally. I can't. I'm not saying I could do better.
I can't do funny, but I can write violent, tragic stuff all day long and write depressing poetry.
I will say that the setup, the ideas behind all these three segments today, I really am completely behind, like, the idea of it. I think it makes a lot of sense.
I think they all had great potential for sure.
Yeah. Like good. This is timeless stuff, and it's not doing the political humor that the show really is relying on. I think a lot of this season.
Thank goodness we've had enough politics this week.
Which, oh boy, that is very true. I know. I was just thinking about it. Like, look, like one of the things that I'm sure the writers of the show could never have foreseen when they were doing a lot of the political humor was, obviously making fun of Trump. And there's, obviously the people that like Trump and are offended by that. But even for me, a person that is not a fan of Trump at all, I don't think Trump is funny anymore. You know what I mean? Like now I look at these things like the Cyclops and him in the first song and everything. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm just over it. I'm just sick of it.
Yeah, it's been out 4 years now already.
I know, but I'm done. And I can't blame the writers for doing Trump jokes. I think even he was actually a interview with Wellesley Wild and Gabe Zawar, I believe, that they said that Spielberg really wanted them to do as much political humor as possible. That he really was trying to get it as political as he wanted more and more political humor.
I'm not disagreeing. It seems odd for him to go that route. I mean, he's very political himself, but not. He doesn't usually do it in a funny way. I mean, maybe he wanted them to do it because he doesn't, treat politics humorously. A lot of his films are actually pretty political.
Yeah.
But I find that interesting.
Hi, Animanicast podcast. This is Chick Venera as Pesto the Pigeon. That's a mouthful. Why would you do that to someone? Why? Okay, that's it. I'm out of here.
Some said it couldn't be done. Some said it shouldn't be done. But the host of the Animanicast said, we're doing it anyway. That's right. It's the Animanicast Patreon page. After more than 4 years of podcasting about Animaniacs, the Animanicast is asking for you to become a patron and pledge your support. Your support not only helps cover the cost of podcast hosting, but it also gives you an opportunity to receive some exciting rewards. Some rewards include behind-the-scenes audio and video, voting rights that determine which episodes the Animanicast will cover, video chats with the host of the show, Animaniacs vinyl decals sent right to your home, and much, much more, including exclusive episode commentaries from the creator of Animaniacs, Tom Ruger. For more information, go to patreon.com/Animanicast.
So it's something, I don't know, it's something to, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. What we're talking about. Let's just move on to the next segment here.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's talk about France Revolution.
Woo!
And France Revolution was a story by Andrew Barbeau, and it was a teleplay by Kathleen Chen and Brian Polk. It was directed by Scott O'Brien and Adriel Garcia. And Kelly, why don't you tell us what happens here in France Revolution?
Okay. It's in the 1700s, and the Warners are struggling to find something to eat. You know, they're like digging dirt potatoes out of the ground, and then they just blow away in the dust because they're just dirt. And they're starving. And Marie-Antoinette's carriage drives by, and of course she's the Queen of France at this time, and drops a slice of cake. And the siblings argue over, you know, we should consume it slowly, and let's just eat it up. And they're licking little bits of icing off of it, as one does with cake. And then finally, Yakko gets it and eats all of it.
Is this what non-dirt-based food tastes like? It's fantastic!
Don't eat it all at once, Yakko. We might never have something so scrumptious again.
Maybe not, but I think I know how we can get more.
And so they decide to go into the palace, and they pose as servants, footmen and everything. And they help Marie-Antoinette. Well, they don't really help her, but they stand outside the carriage as she gets out and then open the door for her. And then she's bemoaning her sad fate of being a queen, and how rough her life is. And
it is so hard to be queen these days. I'm expected to be a mother, a fashion model, and a businesswoman. But nobody bought my celebrity cookbook. My publisher said it's because people don't have gold, but I think it's because everyone wants to see me fail.
You deserve to be pampered today. How about a mani-pedi?
And then they have a close-up of her nasty hand, which is gross. And it's got like a spider on it. It's like, really? We have to go there with her hand now? Like, okay.
Like, don't forget, this is a gross show.
For a minute, I almost forgot.
Yeah.
So she finally realizes that they are peasants, and then has them arrested, and they're escorted outside, and they pass a guillotine, however you want to pronounce it. I like guillotine. I think either is correct.
I think that's the correct way, isn't it?
I think you can say it either way. I've looked it up for people. I got to argue with my dad about it one time. I'm like, they're both right.
That'll be an Animanicast poll.
So anyway,
one of those in a long time.
So it makes it look like they might be headed in that direction, but then
beheaded.
The executioners are actually just having a party. So then they get taken to the stocks, and as they're being put into the stocks, with their arms and head outside, held captive, they're talking about all the good food that they ate.
I regret nothing. Those croque monsieurs were delicious.
Croque, monsieur! Croque, monsieur! Croques of all kinds!
That bechamel sauce was to die for.
And so the crowd starts really paying attention, and instead of wanting them to be punished, they start salivating because they want some food too. I mean, they want some of that good cake. And So then they break into the palace and just, eat all the cake and everything. And they capture Marie-Antoinette, or, toss her outside, and she falls in the mud. And that the Warner siblings, tell her that the peasants, they can't even buy bread. She's Marie-Antoinette saying she wants to be loved. And she's like, well, then, if they can't buy bread, let them eat cake. Which I'm pretty sure it's been known now that she didn't really say that.
Nah.
That's just the urban myth. And in fact, I think the story is, because I've actually read a book about her, that I think she actually stepped on the executioner's foot or something as she was walking up to the scaffold and apologized. So, or maybe I'm mixing her up with Anne Boleyn or somebody. I don't know. I read a lot about people that got their heads chopped off. Sort of a hobby of mine. And anyway, so
a collection of books about people getting their heads chopped off.
Oh man, all the books I have about assassinated royalty. It's ridiculous. The wives of Henry VIII and all sorts of stuff. But I just like history.
Well, that's all the time we have today, folks. Thanks to our celebrity guest, Marie. And good luck at that revolutionary tribunal, huh? I hear they can be a real pain in the neck. Goodbye, everybody!
And while they don't basically say, I don't think they say you're going to get killed, but they kind of allude to it with Yakko.
They say there's a pain in the neck.
Yeah, it's a pain in the neck. And then, of course, the iris goes in around Yakko's head.
And he gets decapitated.
Yeah, he gets decapitated, but he's so happy about it. Anyway, so there you go. That's France Revolution. I mean, the main thing, reference, of course, is the French Revolution with Marie-Antoinette. And
it wasn't funny.
I thought you were going to say Dance Revolution was
Dance Revolution is the thing. Which I guess that's still around. I mean, I haven't been to an arcade or anything since forever. But it's people still like that game.
Yeah. Sure. I'm sure there's people that are really good at it still.
Yeah. Not me. but at any rate, that there was a lot of stuff in it.
It was actually kind of sad.
It was one of the darker ones, I suppose. Especially, I mean, it's of course knowing what's going to happen, and also that the Warners instigate the French Revolution, which of course itself isn't a bad thing, because of course the monarchy had to being abolished and everything,
corrupt
like
and
that.
Or whatever.
But of course even thinking about it with news today and everything, what's the right way to go about political change? And you can see a lot of different ways to do that, huh? And certainly the French Revolution was one. But I don't know. I just thought the Marie-Antoinette, there was a lot of stuff I think when I was watching this, and it was the same thing with the first one. I should be enjoying this cartoon more than I am. And I couldn't put my finger on it why I wasn't.
Because it wasn't funny.
Oh, there you go. The jokes weren't working for me. I don't know. Nathan, what about you? Is there stuff that you thought was funny?
There were no, I don't no. She was somewhat funny, I suppose. The actual voice actress for Marie-Antoinette, sure.
She had a good French accent. I didn't like the monster eating part. Like, I didn't think the sharp teeth and I don't know. I thought I liked her line reads well enough. I thought that's true. I think I do agree with that. I think I did like her French accent and her voice and stuff. I thought was very good. I just wish that they all had funnier things to say. And I felt bad for Dot, who is like, oh, we're all starving and she's going to distract.
Why doesn't Dot get to eat?
Dot never got to eat. I was thinking
she's doing all the work.
She's doing all the work. I mean, I guess she's getting a spa treatment too at the same time, but
still,
but I thought the whole point of this was to go eat something, and meanwhile, Dot has to do all the work while her brothers eat all the food. The
cakes were pretty. I liked the cake with the little flower on it. It was pretty.
So yeah, the animation and there was voice acting, and there we go.
I liked the cake.
It looked, for the most part, I liked how it looked. I liked the concept of it. I just didn't like the execution of it.
Ooh.
I got it.
Unintentional pun, I swear.
All the puns. Where are we beheading? Do the same pun again.
I know. That was a good one, though. So let's do it.
It was good. Kelly did on accident.
They didn't do, hey, and they didn't even do, they even do that one, like, at one time. Like, it seems like they could have done.
Yeah. See, we got 2 puns they could have put in.
Execution, like, yeah. Oh, man. Oh.
We're doing it without even trying.
I know. We're just
maybe they did when he said where you'll be heading. Did he say that to her when she's? I don't know.
I think maybe. I'm sure it was in there.
I would think
it just seems like a lot of these.
It's a very missed opportunity if he didn't say that. So.
Yeah. It seems like I don't know. It just seems like a lot of these episodes. It's kind of going through the motions at some points for me, I think, which is sad because I'm like, I want to like this. I want to like this. It's a great idea. No. Okay, let's wrap it up here with Gift Wrapper. And Gift Wrapper was written by Lucas Crandalls and Timothy Nash, and it was directed by Scott O'Brien. And so in Gift Wrapper, the Warners are in the water tower, and they're kind of putting together some IKEA furniture with the oopsie doopsie or whatever it's called. I forget what it's called, but I'll put in Wacko's audio right here telling everybody what it's called.
Maybe we should have read the instructions for the swingy thingy.
I think I see where this is going.
And so they do this catapult bed, and they go through a studio wall next to them, and they enter a movie, or not a movie studio. It's kind of a video being filmed at the time. And it's starring a guy named, what's this guy's name? He's J-Pac, which is kind of like Jay-Z and Tupac put together. So before you know it, the Warners and J-Pac, who's that guy? Remember that poster? We all were like, hey, who's that guy on top of the tower? Well, now we know.
There's this guy.
It's J-Pac.
Who has 2 thumbs and is on top of the tower?
That guy.
Yeah, hi, Yakko Warner, first-time listener, short-time hater. My question is, who are you?
That's J-Pac Lee's the rapper. Only the greatest wordsmith ever!
It ends up going into kind of a, he's better. This guy's better than William Shakespeare. Yakko, of course, we all know from the original series, liked to quote Shakespeare. So he takes great offense to this. So they go into a rap battle where Yakko kind of talks about how great Shakespeare is.
Alas, poor J-Pac, I don't know who you're supposed to be. All the world's a stage, but player, leave this stage to me. To rap or not to rap, that is the question. It doesn't have to be like this, all arrogance and aggression. My boy Bill told us pride cometh before the fall. Well, you're about to take a humble tumble, else yak a liar call.
The audience isn't really into it. J-Pac then goes into a rap talking about how much the Animaniacs suck. And so that makes Yakko say, boy, that wasn't nice. So he does one more rap battle, ends up saying, hello, hearse. And a whole hearse drops on J-Pac. And then he drops the mic, and then another mic, and another mic, bigger and bigger, until a mic is so big that it's like a space capsule, and it lands on J-Pac. Yakko comes out of it as an astronaut, and a man in the front of the audience explodes for no particular reason.
I think if he was going to drop all those mics, instead of mics, he should have dropped like Mike Tyson and Michael Myers.
Yes.
Like from Saturday Night Live, but not like from Halloween. That's Mike Myers, I guess. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that would have been funny. It would have been a funny visual gag rather than just keep doing the mics.
Yeah. Because I didn't really find the mic dropping that funny. But I would have like, oh, that's funny. And then each Mike could do something different to the guy. Like if you drop Mike Tyson, then he punches you. If you drop Michael Myers, he chases you around. And I don't know, maybe, I don't know. But at any rate, that's basically it. They win the rap battle by squishing him, and the audience likes it. I guess the guy liked. I guess that's why the guy blew up, because he liked it so much. I don't know, but at any rate, there's a lot of references to this. Usually all in J-Pac's or Yakko's rap. So let's kind of go through them, I suppose.
Yes, let's.
J-Pac alludes to Yakko being a reboot of Groucho Marx, which there's a reference to Anakin, which I kind of thought was cool.
That was funny.
Of course.
There's a reference to Tony Stark and Billy Joel, because he says, for the longest time.
I've been king for the longest time.
Yeah, for the longest time, which, that was good. And the Lion King.
He's a mix between, he's Simba meets Billy Joel, because he's king
for the longest time. Yeah. So that was kind of cool.
It started out pretty decent.
Yeah.
But then they had to go there.
Yeah, and there was going to be some other stuff, according to Kyle Carroza, who is one of the storyboard artists of the new series. Elmira, he actually put some footage up on, or I should say storyboards up on his Twitter account, I think back in November when the series came out, showing how Elmira was going to come out when J-Pac mentions Elmira. And even Yakko was going to hold Mr. Skullhead's skull up when he was doing the Shakespeare stuff, but both of those characters were cut for some reason, which I thought is a disappointment, because I thought it could have made the raps a little bit better. They mention Wacko's Wish. They mention Billy Zane. They mention the Baloney and the Slacks, and he says Spielberg should do more than filming sharks, or he should go back to filming sharks. I don't know. Well,
he said he should do more than filming, or he
ought to stick to filming sharks.
Stick to filming sharks.
Yeah,
and so that's when it went off the rails for me.
Well, I will say that J-Pac's, even though his rap was mean, I would say definitely, which I guess is supposed to be the point, because he's supposed to be a character that you don't like. I didn't, and I liked his raps, which is sad. Like, I liked his rap more than Yakko's raps.
It had a good beat.
Yeah, I thought it sounded good, but I didn't like the message of it. Like, you guys were, like, again...
It was mean.
Yo, if Dot was my sister, I'd fire her. And Wacko's even less likable than Elmira. Spielberg gotta stick to filming sharks. Now rebooting this rebooter, Groucho Marx. Hulu wrote a check and the money beckoned. But the one is I like a bad joke told twice. If you weren't funny the first round, why would you be the second? Wanna compare my 30 Grammys to your 8 Emmys? And a big body? You've been put to sleep, kid. It's time to say goodnight, everybody. Ow!
Well, that was just plain mean.
And don't go there with Spielberg.
Well, don't go there with Spielberg, and don't go there with the original show too. Like, and they even, it's so funny. It's like they mentioned like the 8 Emmys and the Peabody that the Animaniacs got.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, yeah, but those were done by the original writers too.
It's just mean-spirited.
It really just didn't make me feel happy at the end of this, and I just felt sad. I felt sorry for Yakko and the other Warners. I didn't like this guy.
The rhyming was good.
Good.
Yeah, I was like, are you trying to actually alienate people who like the original show? Like, actively trying to, and also people who love Steven Spielberg, because you're going there. And I'm a little perturbed right now.
I suppose we should also mention, they also have the Pinky and the Brain were inside the DJ.
Yes. And they made some references to things, some mice.
Danger Mouse was one of them.
That was funny. I mean, it reminded me of Danger Mouse, which is like so old I barely remember the show. But
well, I don't even think they're talking about that. Isn't there a DJ called Danger Mouse or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, well in the closed caption they spell it weird.
MAUS, I think, right?
Yeah, or there was like a 5 or something.
Yeah.
But then they also mentioned the other Danger Mouse,
Right. So, yes.
which is a cartoon.
Oh, it's too bad we used that dead mouse joke in the last episode. This would have been perfect.
Keep working your controls, or you're going to be in danger, mouse.
Danger Mouse. That works too. We've both got jokes.
So yeah, I initially thought of the the original Nickelodeon cartoon, or I guess it came from BBC actually, probably not Nickelodeon. But I watched it on Nickelodeon. Yeah, I used to watch it on Nickelodeon, which was Danger Mouse. And then I thought, oh yeah, there's that DJ too. I forgot about him because I'm not hip, I'm old. But anyway, it just that was that. It was yeah.
Me.
Is there anything that you guys want to talk about this last part of the episode before we get to our water tower rating?
They almost said hello, nurse.
They did. They kind of allude to her, which I thought was nice. But yeah, of course,
I miss hello, nurse.
Yeah.
I'm sad that they didn't actually have a Pinky in the Brain segment, because I think this episode really could have benefited from it, because that's been one of the stronger.
Every episode so far, it's like, oh, the Pinky Brain's been like the best second.
Yeah.
So you really feel the lack in this episode.
Yeah. Well, let's go and get to our water tower rating then.
On that note.
Well, what do you guys think? Out of 5 water towers, how many water towers would you give this episode? Kelly, let's start with you, because you have some strong feelings, I think, about it.
1. It wasn't funny. They made a comment about Spielberg. He probably allowed it, and that didn't make it any better. I didn't like it.
Okay. And Nathan, what about you?
I'll say 2. I'll say 2. Just because concepts are fine. I think these could have been really good. I think if there was a Pinky in the Brain episode, this could have been maybe a 3 if you cut out one of these 3 segments. I don't even know which one I would cut, but if there was a really good Pinky in the Brain segment, sure. This could easily have been a much better, more Pinky in the Brain. That's what I say. And because of that, 2. Sure.
Yeah, you would think maybe they could have put Pinky in the Brain into a French Revolution one if they were dealing with the takeover of France or something like that. Maybe they could have done it, perhaps. But at any rate, I'll go. I mean, the funny thing is, I wasn't offended, and I understand why Kelly was offended with this episode. But this episode didn't necessarily offend me that much. It just certainly didn't make me laugh. Other than Moosey Mama, which I still think was funny, being how it was said, even though I don't understand why the moose was there.
It's there to be random. I think it's the
I guess
joke. It's just a random moose.
But
that's the joke. There's no explanation. That's the joke.
So anyway, earlier today I was thinking 2.5, and now I was thinking 2, and then after talking about it with you guys, I'm going to go 1.5, which is so funny I don't know.
I'm usually the nicer one that scores these.
I'll be right in the middle. I mean, but the funny thing is, it's just the goal of the show above all, I just want to laugh. I just want to have fun with it. The first time I watched this episode, I almost fell asleep. Granted, I was watching it late at night, but what I would hope that the show would be funny enough to keep me. Yeah, I took a bunch of sleeping pills. Drank 3 gallons of alcohol. I don't understand.
And I fell asleep. I don't know what's going on.
What's wrong with you, show? No, I just want the show to be funny above all. And I just certainly didn't find this one that funny. I just kind of it didn't offend me. I like the concept.
I wasn't offended. It just made me mad.
Well, there you go.
It made me mad in its unfunniness. And it made me mad in the Spielberg reference. Because I watched half of it. Not even half the episode, I guess half of the Hercule Yakko part on my lunch break, and then when I got home I was like, I need to finish watching the episode. I don't want to finish watching the episode.
I know, and but
I did. Of course, but I didn't want to.
It's work. Well, at any rate, that's that.
And I hate to be that mean about it. I know I probably sound really mean. But I really, some of them I've liked okay, and some I thought were really funny, but this whole episode was meh.
There's so much talent behind this episode in so many ways. Like, I know the writers are talented. I know the artists are talented. I know the voice actors are talented. And it's just frustrating to me when I see an episode like this that has a great concept and I'm excited to hear and see and everything about it. And then it just so falls
Because there's
flat.
only 10 episodes. So that gives them,
There's 13.
Oh, 13, yeah. Sorry.
There's only 10 good episodes.
No, we'll find out.
I don't know why I got 10 episodes, but we're not doing 65 like we used to, when it would premiere in September and run through May or whatever, however long a full season was back in the day. So when you have those few episodes, you really need to make them shine. I mean, you've got to, condense it and, I don't know. They just need to be 13 really strong episodes.
Yeah. And this one certainly was not as strong as it should have been. Well, by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, Freakazoid, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animanicast unless otherwise indicated.
So you already know I tend to get ahead of myself. He did it! No, she did it! See what I mean?